It's difficult to start to look ahead to a round of 32 when he's clearly as frustrated as he is with the performance of the Scotland players. I mean, obviously, Brazil have so much attacking talent, as we can see. Is there a difference, Rachel, in having been played through by Brazil and having given them the goals? Because there were moments where they did really click up front, but that isn't where Scotland conceded the goals.
It wasn't, but also that was part of Brazil's plan. Don't get me wrong, Steve Clarke's right in the fact we made it difficult. We made mistakes in areas where if you make mistakes, you will get punished. I think it sounds like from his reaction is that there was a preparation for that. So I think maybe part of that, of course, it's raw when you get the manager right off the final whistle. But it sounds like the players maybe knew what to expect, and therefore that's maybe part of that frustration. But you know, we can't change that now. We have to stay optimistic, and Steve Clarke will go away and reflect, and they'll review the game, and they'll hopefully get the opportunity to fix some things, and hopefully we are still in the competition.
And also, as Ailey said, we will get more sort of reflective views from him. We'll be able to hear what he thinks about that when it's had time to settle. Clearly really emotional in the heat of the moment. One of the kind of patterns that repeated itself from the Morocco game was conceding an early goal, Scott.
Yeah. Been in those situations, been Steve as well, that you can talk as much as you want about defensively, make sure we're organised, and like this is nice and calmness. There's no pressure whatsoever on the lads. Angus got the ball, and like we do talk about, like Scotty has had a scan. The first touch is not too bad. I think you've just got to trust yourself and pass Robbo the ball, because he can look after the ball. And then that opportunity, as Steve talked about, we gave them goals. And that's a disappointing thing. Yes, they did play through us at times, and yes, they could have scored a few more goals. But you don't want to give those goals away 6, 7 minutes into a game, because then you're always chasing your tail. And that is the hardest thing in football, because that's the last 2 games we've done that, and that's going to be a disappointing fact.
Yeah, well, what's the common thread between those 2 games? Why do you think that Scotland are conceding early goals in successive games?
It's hard to know, because I wouldn't say that's something we've been particularly guilty of. And I think they're slightly different. But it is an element of concentration. I think for the others, you could really break that down. I don't think the pass from Angus Gunn is good enough. I don't think McKenna gets deep enough, quick enough to then make the pass. I don't think the midfield offer. We're only talking 5, 6 minutes in. There's so many things we could analyse in that. And early on in the game, you really don't have room. You don't have time in a World Cup game against a team like Morocco, who were at the semi-finals last time, against a team like Brazil, who've won it more times than anyone else. You don't get the first 5, 10 minutes to ease your way in. And I think that is maybe where, in this competition, in the next level, these teams are able to just turn that dial and say, let's really put them under pressure. Because we're playing Scotland, we know they're disciplined, we know they'll work hard, you know, they do the prep and know that's what they're going to get from us. But the one thing they might know is, let's play at a level they're maybe not used to. Let's really try and Brazil didn't do that right in the first pass, but they baited us in and then jumped. And
it's hard for Scotty as well, because Scotty's not played any games.
Yeah.
And Scotty's came straight in, and that press, he's probably thinking, I'm in, first touch not too bad. Now can I relax and take the calmness out of the game? And just naturally that tempo just steps up. And I thought Brazil was able to change the tempo when they wanted to. And they went through the gears, and especially just before the end of half-time, there was some fluent football played. The wingers in around the corner into strikers' feet, and the wingers naturally following on. And the amount of times they broke our backline was incredible. But that's what top-quality players can do to you. They can hurt you if you switch off for that 1 second.
Lucas, obviously the emphasis in Scotland in particular is going to be on the mistakes that they made. Just let's put this into context, though. I mean, you said before this game, Brazil not in their stride yet. James said even after this game, Brazil still not at their levels yet that they'll want to achieve as the competition goes on. But where do you think they are?
I think it was a very good performance overall. I think from Brazil, I think, you know, we can mention Vini Jr., we can mention Matheus Cunha, but don't forget about Alisson, made a couple of saves. So I think Neymar having some game time, Casemiro looking more comfortable, Bruno Guimarães that we mentioned a little bit before, that, you know, showing a little bit more offensive threat. So I think overall for Brazil, it was really good. Of course, it forced Scotland to make mistakes. I think setting the trap, to recover that ball in the moment and the area of the pitch that was really dangerous. So I think, of course, Scotland side really disappointed, made mistakes, but I think for Brazil, they will look that game and analyze and be really happy that the way, especially they pressed, and the way they created chances. I think it was a very good performance for the last game of the groups. So let's hope now they keep improving and keep gain more confidence during the tournament.
It could have been even better for Brazil because they had a goal disallowed, which I'm not sure there's anybody sitting here can really make a strong case. But I mean, look, I think you made the strongest case, Rachel, which is that there is contact.
There is.
But not just yet.
I think when you look at this again, though, we're not doing enough around Henry to be a pass. And in the end, he tries to dribble, he should buy himself more time to think, surely if I dribble, there might be an option come up. And there isn't. So you end up thinking, I need to lend this. So he gives it to Ferguson. He doesn't, really short pass, doesn't have a chance to make another movement. And then he gets himself stuck. And, he's really in trouble when he then lets the ball through his body. This moment here, Vinicius Jr.'s on him. You see there's contact on the leg just before he plays the ball. And, that's why he's given us a foul. When you see it real time, though, you really see the position Jack Henry's in. He's caught. He's caught. And it's not totally his fault, but he's trying to solve the situation by dribbling, trying to find a pass. And that's, again, an area, us in possession, I think it at times tonight was dangerous for us.
And issues, again, defensively for the second goal that was allowed, Scott?
Yeah, definitely. Look, it's always hard playing against a top-quality team, but you're going to see how quick they just move the ball. Like the speed of their attack, in, back in, see the movement off there. That's what I was talking about earlier on. And that's us trying to play out of pressure yet again. We get caught, and then look, the ball's fantastic. But looking at the defensive line, we're okay. Angus has got his bearings completely wrong here, and Patterson's inside just takes his eye off him for 1 second, and look at Vinicius' movement, unbelievable. He's in front of him, checks off, and that's what all good wingers, strikers do. We always talk about Ronaldo's movement in the box, how well that is. Take nothing for granted. That's fantastic movement, but it's a great ball in the box as well, what you were saying, Lucas.
Yes, it was a great ball from Bruno, also a counter-pressing from Matheus Cunha, and it's a great header. So I think, of course, when you score 3 goals, you always mention the offensive side. But let's not forget, I think, the way that Brazil pressed, and they pressed really well today.
Yeah, and you thought Matheus Cunha, look, this is Vinicius Jr. moving on to 4 goals. This race for the Golden Boot is going to be really interesting. There's already been 4 for Haaland and Mbappe. Messi's 5 goals in a couple of games already. He's decided this is one last dance for him, and he's not going out, without making a huge fuss about it. So this race for the Golden Boot is going to be really exciting to watch. And then, as you said earlier, you wanted to highlight the work of Matheus Cunha and what he contributed. He also then managed to go on and get his goal as his reward.
Yes, award that he deserved. I think the work he put in today was incredible. He made it easier for Ryan and Vinicius Jr., dropping that little pocket and linking, the midfield to the front players. So it's a great pass from Casemiro to Bruno Guimarães, and Cunha believes that he can get the ball, and a great awareness from Bruno, and his one finish. So well-deserved award and a great goal from Matheus.
I just love this movement from Bruno, because naturally it's coming in, it's going to be a bounce pass, and Bruno's trying to get in behind, and that's what I feel Scotland didn't do well enough. If the ball did go up to Shanklin, if it did go up to McTominay, we felt like we were struggling to get there, or ideas of thinking just ahead of the game, where they're naturally smart footballers, intelligent footballers. They were just that one step ahead.
Brazil 1 step ahead all night, and they've beaten Scotland by 3 goals to 0. Sao Paulo, this is Sao Paulo after that 3rd goal, where the celebrations were in full swing. But of course, Brazil as they always have done, have a record of finishing top of their group. So this is par for the course for Brazil. What they'll be hoping is that they can go on and lift that trophy that we can see a replica of right there in the shot come the end of a single World Cup since 1982. Morocco then finished as runners-up because they drew with Brazil and they have a worse goal difference than Brazil. Scotland, as we know, now have to wait for results in the other groups to find out if third place with 3 points will be enough for them to progress to the last 32. And they'll be looking at that goal difference of -3, and that will be making Scotland very nervous at the moment. Haiti are heading home. So will 3 points with a goal difference of -3 be enough? The 8 best teams out of the 12 that finish third in their group will advance to the knockout stages. Now, a 3-0 defeat means that they currently rank as the 6th best side. 3 points, -3, as we said. But the majority of teams are yet to play their final group match. So their points total potentially could go up, and they could then obviously increase their goal difference. However, before this round of games, Opta said a defeat by 3 goals tonight gives Scotland about a 50-50 chance of progressing to the round of 32. So a flip of a coin, there is still a 50-50 chance of Scotland advancing to the round of 32. But given how precarious their position is, Scotland might have to wait till Algeria take on Austria in the early hours of Sunday morning to find out if they have reached the knockout stages of a major tournament for the very first time. I think in that game, a point is enough for each of those sides to progress to the round of 32. So we will watch and wait to see what happens with some degree of interest, as we will as John McGinn speaks to Ailey.
John, you gave it absolutely everything out there tonight. Can you just sum up how you're feeling right now?
Gutted, obviously. We lose 4 goals at poor times against a team that can punish you with quality. We had a few chances to get a goal ourselves, which would have been important in the end, but we've just got to wait now. The first one might be important, but you can see the lads are gutted. We fell short in quality tonight, but we gave it absolutely everything. The lads are empty now, but if what they go through, we'll have to see over the next few days, but we've given ourselves a more difficult chance. It's unlikely now, I would say, but we'll wait and see.
How tough an opponent were Brazil? You talk about the quality and they've got bags of it.
Yeah, they do, and in moments they just hurt you. They allowed us to have the ball, and at this level, if you make mistakes, this is the top level, and if you make mistakes you get punished. And tonight we probably get fortunate with the goal that got disallowed, but if you make mistakes at this level you get punished. So we know we have to be better, but we just need to wait and see now.
See the reaction from the supporters when you walk over at the end. They appreciate the effort and everything that was put into tonight, and like you say, there might be one more to come, but this campaign as a whole at this moment in time, how long will it stick in the memory and see what's to come?
Well, it's a bit raw at the minute, but we appreciate the support of the fans. We know how difficult it is to be here, and hopefully the journey's not over, but they've been absolutely outstanding, and if we have to go again, we'll go again.
We wish you all the best. Hopefully we're there. Thanks, John.
Also inside the stadium, James McFadden, we just heard him on commentary. James, what was the reaction of the Scotland fans?
Yeah, it was good, it was positive. They applauded the team. They were singing at the end to try and get them. They know how important the goals are in the game, Kelly, so they're trying to just get one last push from them. And yeah, I think it was of appreciation. Look, there's some faces round about me wandering out, and they're obviously disappointed and they look a bit shocked. But it's a tall ask to ask you to come and beat Brazil. And John's right, the boys gave it absolutely everything. Just didn't have enough. Moments of lapse in concentration, maybe a little bit of slackness here and there. That's the frustration, not the effort, not the way they went about trying to get that goal in the second half. I think they put it all on the line and just come up short.
And that's the conversation that we've been having here in the studio as to whether Scotland will come away from this tournament as they have done at the previous 2 Euros, and if they do indeed go out at this stage of the competition, because obviously there's still a chance that they could progress to the round of 32, will they feel that there was more that they could have done?
Undoubtedly. You look at the defending for the goal conceded against Morocco, and maybe not having enough of a threat against Morocco as much as a decent performance the second half. the goals have conceded once again tonight. Now, Brazil had chances, they had loads of chances, and they probably should have scored more. But to give them the gifts, and at the moments they did, that's the big frustration. I think there were lots of positives, are certainly good things about performance against Morocco and Brazil. But ultimately, it's 2 defeats, and they come down to the moments in the game where there's a panic almost at times, and then you're caught out. And when you're playing in the world stage, you get punished. Brazil they're a team. They're going to be a force in this World Cup, and I don't think they were anywhere near the level that they will have to play as the tournament progresses. But they had so much threat. They looked dangerous every time they went forward. I did feel uncomfortable and nervous, because you know that they can make something out of nothing, and it can happen in an instant. So yeah, I'm disappointed for the team. I'm disappointed for the fans that have come over. They've had the time of their lives, and I'm sure they'll be watching every game now till the end of the group stages, and be hoping that it's enough.
Well, the players are going to be out there not knowing if they're going to be preparing for a knockout game or not until the late night Saturday, early hours of Sunday morning.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult, but it was always going to be the case. If you don't get the points and you're having to wait and see, what it means in terms of the group stage finishing, then it was always going to be the case. They'll have to recover from this game and actually just
not knowing if they're going to be preparing for a knockout game or not until the late night Saturday, early hours of Sunday morning.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult, but it was always going to be the case. If you don't get the points and you're having to wait and see, what it means in terms of the group stage finishing, then it was always going to be the case. They'll have to recover from this game and actually just start to prepare as if they are playing a game. That's all they can do. They can't just sit and wait around till Saturday and then decide they're going to go and maybe try and get ready because it's turned out to be enough. They'll have to just recover as if there's a game coming up, and if there isn't, then so be it, and if there is, then at least they'll be ready for it, and hopefully, fingers crossed that happens. Hopefully we can get a good performance and give the Scotland fans something to cheer about.
And you might get to break out a new white t-shirt as well.
Oh, there's still plenty in the bag, Kelly, don't worry about that. I just need to get them washed now.
Yeah, you've gone over there with a lot of optimism and a lot of t-shirts. James, for now, thanks very much.
Thank you.